Hey guys, welcome in. This is back today for another root work read. These readings are about healing at a soul level, healing from the root. So this is my Christmas elf deck, and this is the extra card in the deck. So it's the Happy Narwhal, and it's in reverse. Okay, so you might be just feeling a little bit defeated right now, maybe a little disappointed. It could also just be some exhaustion. You know, the holidays, we just had them. The Three of Pentacles came out in reverse. So maybe you have, like I said, you're just exhausted from the holidays, tired of being around people, just wanting to take some time for yourself and regroup. Let's see what else wants to come out for our reading today. So the Five of Cups, so you could be having some regret or dealing with some regret, maybe some guilt. The Eight of Wands is in reverse, so maybe you wanted to travel somewhere or you wanted to communicate something. The Three of Wands is also in reverse, so the Three of Wands and the Three of Pentacles, so you could be seeing the number 333. That could resonate with you. The Nine of Cups is here though, so this can be talking about a wish fulfillment, but this can also be kind of a self-centered energy. Maybe you're just really focusing on yourself right now. And Judgment's here, so maybe that's the wake-up call that you needed, is that it's just, after the holidays, being around people, talking all the time, maybe now you need to just have some time for yourself. And the Nine of Wands came out, so that's the Wounded Warrior card, so that can just be talking about exhaustion. The Knight of Swords, so this can be talking about somebody who wants to come towards you, if that does resonate with you. This can be somebody you want to talk to. This can also just be you realizing this within yourself, that it's time to take some time for yourself. So yeah, the Ten of Wands came out with the Knight of Cups. So maybe you're really feeling overwhelmed right now in your feelings. The Star came out. So there's definitely some hope. And here's the Queen of Swords. Okay, so you might be like really discerning right now. You might really be using your wisdom after being around people for the holidays. The Devil's coming out in reverse, so you might be releasing some of that negativity, especially if you had to see family members that you weren't expecting to see. The Five of Swords is here, so moving away from that conflict. The King of Wands wanted to come out sideways, so this could be you or somebody that you've been dealing with. Maybe it's time to step up and become the King of Wands, so you're not quite sure yet, so it's sideways. Or this is somebody that wants to come towards you. This could definitely be talking about somebody who has romantic feelings for you, because that is the Knight of Cups, somebody that wants to ask you out on a date. It did come out after the Knight of Swords, so if you're manifesting that, that can definitely be for you. But this can also just be talking about being burnt out from the holidays. The Page of Cups is here, so this can be somebody who has a crush on you. This can just be you, in your own feelings. And the Hierophant came out in sideways also. So, maybe you're rethinking the holidays. Maybe you didn't do things as traditional this year with the holidays that you normally do. Or maybe there's some issues around commitment with this person. Maybe it's a little bit non-traditional. Maybe you aren't quite sure yet if they're wanting commitment or you're wanting commitment. The Empress in reverse came out on the bottom. So that's definitely telling me that it's time to nurture yourself, time to give to yourself, especially if you're exhausted from the holidays. So what else wants to come out with this read? So the Ten of Pentacles, yeah, so this definitely talks about tradition. This can be talking about commitment, and this can be talking about a family structure also. So that goes right along with the holidays. It also can go along with the commitment, the Hierophant here being sideways. Maybe you aren't sure if that's what you were, if that person was wanting that, but that's what you're wanting, is a Ten of Pentacles. Or that can just be talking about, you spend a lot of time with family and just getting through the holidays. So the Page of Pentacles came out in reverse and the Seven of Wands. So it looks like you've really had to defend your position. Maybe, like I said, maybe the Five of Swords is out here too. So maybe you really had some conflict with family. So the Four of Swords came out in reverse. right? So that's talking about burnout. The Three of Swords, maybe there was some grief or some loss around this time of the year. The Ace of Swords is here in reverse. The Three of Cups is here, so it talks about celebration. This can also talk about a reunion energy. You know, if somebody is coming towards you, it's going to make you happy. And the Two of Swords can talk about making a decision. Somebody's making a decision to come towards you, and that's why the Page of Pentacles is here in reverse. Or this can be talking about finding balance. You know, we do have the Four of Swords out here in reverse, so taking some time for yourself with that burnout energy. The Three of Cups and the Two of Swords, finding some balance, finding some celebration, some you time. What else? So the Seven of Pentacles came out in reverse. So this can definitely be somebody who hasn't been investing in you and they want to make the decision if they're going to invest in you or not. And like I said, this can be you need to invest in yourself, because there's the Hermit with isolation. So you haven't been investing enough in yourself. That's where that burnout energy comes from. There's the Ace of Pentacles though. So it also came out with the Ace of Swords, Eight of Swords in reverse. So if somebody is coming towards you, it looks like they're getting out of their head and they're getting into that commitment energy to ask you out on a date. Yep, so the Lovers did come out. So this can definitely be talking about a romantic situation. It can also be talking about you have a choice. The Four of Wands is here in reverse. So maybe you haven't felt very stable in this connection, or just in your personal life in general, you haven't felt very stable. Maybe there's some family issues around the holidays, like I said, that you've been dealing with, a family that you have to see that you aren't wanting to see. The Wheel's here in reverse, so there's some kind of resistance either to timing or to having the wheel move. There's some kind of delay. The King of Swords came out in reverse. So you can definitely be dealing, you know, maybe ex-partners that you didn't want to see over the holiday because you share children, or ex-family members that you didn't want to deal with. And they came out with the Seven of Cups. So this can also be talking about somebody who hasn't come towards you yet to make you a love offer and they've been cold towards you. And the Seven of Cups is talking about illusion and fantasies. It can also be talking about other options. The King of Cups also came out in reverse with that. So somebody's been holding back emotions, or over the holidays, maybe you had to hold back some emotions, especially if you were angry. And it fell on top of the Seven of Wands, which is talking about defending yourself. So if you had to deal with people you didn't want to, you know, maybe you were really holding back. Maybe you were a little bit cold towards them just to protect yourself. The Five of Pentacles came out in reverse. So this is talking about moving on from a lack mentality. It's also talking about coming out of the cold. So maybe somebody wants to come out of the cold with you. It's the Five of Wands. So maybe there's been some challenges in this situation. There's been some conflict. The Four of Cups, you know, maybe you weren't accepting this at first, or they weren't accepting this at first. There's the Ace of Cups. So they do want to come forward with the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. Those are both upright. So they do, you know, if this is a person, they do want to give you a love offer. If this is you yourself, you know, this is talking about there was some conflict. You know, maybe you were a little bit apathetic towards people this time of the year. And the Ace of Cups is there, you know, because there is maybe still love that you have for these people, even if there was challenges and conflict. Page of Wands is in reverse. The Empress came out in reverse again. So still going back to nurturing yourself. Death is here in reverse. So there's been some kind of resistance to an ending. And the Eight of Pentacles came out in reverse, but the Chariot upright. So that tells me, you know, they haven't been putting any work into this situation, or if there's some kind of family, you know, dynamic that you wanted to repair or somebody wanted to repair with you. There's not being any work put into it. But the Chariot's here to tell you that you do have the willpower to move it forward into healing, into change, if that's what you're wanting. This can also be talking about this person wants to come towards you and offer you something small, because we do have one of the pages was upright and we have 2 aces upright. So, you know, they might want to come in and offer you some stability. There's no Ace of Wands out here, so they're not wanting to offer you passion. Stability and feelings is what's out here. So this could, like I said, can also be talking about family. So let's pull some oracle for this situation and see what wants to come out to help us heal things from the root. Okay, so countryside came out. So maybe you resonate with getting out in nature. Maybe you need to get out in nature more if you're in the northern states. If you're in the States, it's winter right now. Jealousy. So maybe there's been some kind of competitiveness or some kind of paranoia that you've been dealing with within your family. Passion is here, so it talks about hobbies, preferences, interests. That goes back to that Empress energy, feeding into yourself first, and timing. Yeah, so that goes with the wheel. The wheel was in reverse, so timing is a factor in whatever this is, you know, whether it's an apology, healing a relationship with family, or someone coming towards you. It's all about timing. So we also got letter. So maybe somebody wants to give you an invitation somewhere. That's what it says on the bottom here is invitation. Somebody wants to send you a text message, and there's redemption. So this says hope, miracle, and turning point. So whether this is a love offer, this is your turning point in that situation. And if this is a family issue, this is the turning point right here. We do have death in reverse. So it's time for that ending. It's time for that change, that transformation to come through. And the Chariot's here to say that you can move it forward if you're wanting change. So the bell came out. It says call, wake up call, signal, chaos. Definitely some challenges and chaos in, I'm not going to take these, so I don't resonate with these. Definitely some chaos in this situation, whatever it may be. Let's see. These root work reads are where we try to heal things from the root of the problem. And we want to also incorporate some nature into our reads. So let's do that. And we'll use the Crystal Grid deck. This is an oracle deck. So, yep, that card says transformation. It also says amethyst at the bottom, so you could resonate with amethyst, or maybe you need to use more amethyst if you work with crystals. But this is a card for transformation, and that's really what we're seeing out here, whether this is within yourself or this is with another person. This is the turning point. This is the transformation point. But the Chariot's here to say that this is your choice. This is your choice to move this forward. The Chariot's all about willpower. The Lovers is out here also. So this is definitely a choice. Okay, so that's all that wants to come out, it looks like, for the crystals. Let's see what else wants to come out here. What wants to come out for this read? So this card says completion, and it also says comfrey. That's a plant. And then you could also resonate with the number 32. You might be 32, or the person you're dealing with might be 32, or you might be turning 30. Whoops. You might be turning 32 this year. So this card says completion. So it looks like the transformation is the completion. So whatever the situation is that you're dealing with. Okay, I can't get my camera to stay up. There we go. Okay. What else wants to come out here? So this card says rebirth. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. It also says 50, so you might resonate with the number 50. Okay, so after endings comes rebirth. So you have death and rebirth in this situation. Whatever it is that wants to be healed, it's going to resonate differently for everybody. Okay, I had to grab another deck. This is my Pure Magic Oracle deck. Let's see what wants to come out for this one. This is a really pretty card. This card says Witch's Wounds, Remedy, Magical Medicine, Sacred Heart, and Another Day. So you could also resonate with the number 36. So this is talking about healing the heart. So that definitely goes along with what's here in the spread, that there's some, whether this is a family issue, it looks like a family issue. That is being healed, and timing really plays a factor into this. So maybe you're one of those people that need to write a letter, do that thing where you write a letter and then you burn it, or you never send it, or you throw it away, or you rip it up, or whatever, to help yourself release the emotions that you're feeling around the situation, because not everybody can talk to the person that they have an issue with. So this is something you can do to help yourself release those emotions around the wound that you have, the heart wound that you have. Okay, let's do one more here. This is my chakra deck. Let's see what wants to come out for this. Oh, joy, and it's yellow. Your favorite color could be yellow. Maybe you need to implement more flowers into your life. You could have blonde hair. But joy. Joy is what comes after the rebirth, after the completion, after healing the wound. It's the joy. This card's really pretty. All right, you guys, if you resonated with that, hit the like button and subscribe. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.